Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS Current Affair Analysis for 27th of April 2020, and these are the articles we'll be dealing today. These are very important articles, so please pay attention. Now the first article for the day is taken from the Indian Express and it is titled A Marshall Plan for East India. In this entire COVID-19 scenario in our present situation, the most heartbreaking stories are those of the migrant laborers. No matter how hard the states are trying, the center is trying, they are just not able to gain the trust of the migrant labor because of the huge number that they are in. So we have had scenarios where migrant labor wanted to go back to their home states, and in the process one of the migrant labor has passed away. This is one of the most saddening situation and the reality of the COVID-19 lockdown. On one side, the government has no option but to contain the spread of this virus to avoid long-term calamity, and on the other, we have this economic problem where it is a matter of survival for most of the migrant labor. So after this lockdown is lifted, whether we like it or not, most of this migrant labor will move from one place to another and they will eventually reach their hometowns. Now most of this migrant labor come from eastern part of the country, whether it is eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. So all these areas form the base where you would find most of the migrant workers working elsewhere. So in a scenario when the lockdown is lifted and when they eventually go back to their hometowns, we will be left with two major issues. Firstly, there will be a shortage of labor. The second issue is there will be excess labor in the states where these migrants came back, and mostly we are talking about states like UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal. So how would you deal with this present dichotomy? On one hand, you have the well-developed states which are having the shortage of labor. So the author says that the answer for the shortage of labor would be obviously to go towards mechanization, and quotes the example of Punjab, where due to labor shortage most of the harvesting work is now done by mechanized harvesters. So in such a kind of a scenario, this shortage of labor can be replaced by machines eventually, even though there are short term discrepancies and problems. But how would you answer the questions posed by the bulging population and where there is excess labor supply? In a scenario where demand is severely restricted, how will you ensure that the labor sector in this area is employed? The answer to this question lies in the NSSO studies. According to NSSO studies conducted in 2011, nearly 60% of the income that a poor family holds is spent on food items. Similarly, if you talk about the present scenario, the author estimates that it will still be around 50%. So in such a scenario, to absorb the additional labor, this is the time to focus upon the marketing activities or building food processing industries and all the interventions that we usually speak about with respect to farm sector. This is an opportunity for revival of East India through a formidable infrastructural facility which is good enough to handle even export. So India should be that go-to destination for farm exports. We have to improve on our competitiveness with respect to exports. Now how do we ensure that? We have to focus on MSME sector that is dedicated to building infrastructure for agricultural sector, whether it is the warehouses that we are talking about, whether it is the market reforms, eliminating the problem of middlemen, improving the ecosystem for negotiable warehouse receipts. All this should be taken up right now, and that is how you can ensure that the sustainable development goals which India aspire to achieve by 2030 do not get derailed. Because just to put things into context, Uttar Pradesh alone has a population of 22 crores nearly. So if 22 crores, and at least assuming that 50% of that population is poor, If 10 to 11 crores of the population is left behind in the developmental narrative, we cannot achieve the sustainable development goals. That is the gist of this article, and that is the reason why he says that we should come up with a sort of a Marshall Plan, that is a package for East India to invest that money in the infrastructural facilities. When we build the competency level of people, we'll obviously be taking care of the sustainable development agenda as well. That is the gist of this article. Now, the second article is taken from the Hindu and it is an extremely important one. This is about the nuclear arms race that is again back into the scenario in international politics. This article is titled "At the Edge of New Nuclear Arms Race." Now, let us have a brief history of how nuclear weapons developed and let us get back to this issue. So, the first nuclear weapon explosion happened in New Mexico when the United States tested its first nuclear bomb in 1945 itself. So, this was way back in 1945, even before they attacked Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The US ensured that it was tested properly. So, in July 16th, 1945, just days before they were about to strike Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they tested this in New Mexico. So, after that, we know that the US has dropped an atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima and it killed nearly 130,000 people. 3 days later, the United States bombed Nagasaki as well, which killed almost double the number of people. So, in subsequent years, the United States, the Soviet Union, that is USSR, Great Britain, and even India ensured that there are talks to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. But this is an era of Cold War. So, obviously, there was some sort of race to pile up or stockpile the nuclear weapons. In 1954, our Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru called for a ban on nuclear testing completely. It was the first large-scale initiative to ban using nuclear technology for mass destruction. So, India has a role to play in international level when it comes to nuclear deterrence. However, by 1991, the Cold War has ended and this ensured that there is some deterrence for nuclear weapon testing. In 1996, there was something called the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, which said that only few countries can go for testing and India was against this stance. Because of the position that India took, CTBT never saw the light of the day because even till today, CTBT is not into force. Now, after this scenario, we have had various treaties like START or the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. So, along with this situation, the reason why this topic is back into the news is because there is militarization in South China Sea, and most recently with the novel coronavirus pandemic that is spreading across the world, China has been continuing its militarization efforts very silently. Now, in this context, the US has submitted a report recently to its Senate stating that neither China nor Russia are adhering to the accepted norms of CTBT, and therefore they have to stock up their nuclear weapons and increase their nuclear testing, which is a clear violation of the nuclear deterrence norms that we have in present international politics. So, the crux of the story is this: due to the lack of authority that CTBT has, because it was not ratified by the countries which signed that agreement, there is no comprehensive treaty that causes nuclear deterrence. There is no legal authority over this subject. So, as a result, due to the militarization of South China and the increase in the activities of Russia as well, there has been calls for the nuclear weapons industry to be revived in United States as well. So, even United States has been revamping its Nevada facility, which has been lying unused since 1992. This was previously a nuclear testing facility, and this site is again getting ready for another phase of nuclear testing. So this is a very problematic issue, and in this scenario, let us have to wait and see how this nuclear testing may be the demise of the ill-fated CTBT. So this marks the beginning of a new nuclear weapons race and the kind of role that India should play in this evolving scenario. That is the gist of this article.